Here are 3 reasons why I think fans have turned on Paddy Pimblett. Number 1, work ethic. Compared to a lot of fighters in the UFC, Paddy is so lazy. He's shown us literally 0 improvement. He's shown up and been the exact same fighter every single time, because when he's not got a fight coming up, all he does is eat and go on holiday. The guy's living it up like someone who's had 10 title defenses and he's not even ranked. He appears to do 0 training outside of camp unless he's filming a YouTube video. As we've all seen, Paddy absolutely balloons outside of camp, going easily over 200 pounds whilst fighting at 155. I recently found out that Michael Chandler weighs about 195 outside of camp, but a Michael Chandler outside of camp and a Paddy outside of camp couldn't look more different. So it's not necessarily the number on the scale that's the issue, it's the type of weight Paddy puts on. It's all bad weight. How much improvement can Paddy really make if his 8 to 12 week camp, half of the camp is dedicated solely to weight loss, and he's doing 0 training outside of camp because he's too busy living it up on holiday, eating his body weight and bad food daily. This would be absolutely fine if he just wanted to have a fun career, but he said numerous times that he wants to be a world champion, and I think even if he made drastic changes right now, I don't see a world where he becomes a UFC champion. I struggle to see him even breaking into the top 15 with what he's shown us so far. I just don't think he's got the natural talent to compete with the ranked UFC lightweights and a lot of the fighters that aren't even ranked. The lightweight division in the UFC is an absolute shark tank full of killers that train all year round. Number 2, his ego. Paddy refuses to change. After his fight with Jared Gordon, he had this to say.
He landed some big shots and you showed you've got a chin, and sometimes your chin's a little bit high as well.
Yeah, it is. My chin is high. No one's ever going to tell me to change it. My coaches try and get me to put my chin down, but
Your style.
that's my style, you know what I mean? I like being in an exciting fight.
He couldn't be more egotistical, and I also fail to see his logic that you need to have your chin in the air in order to be in an exciting fight. I think with an attitude like this, it's not going to be long until Paddy suffers a brutal knockout. He couldn't have handled the Jared Gordon situation any worse, asking for fight of the night when it was clearly the worst fight on the card. Paddy refusing to admit the fight was close, when on the majority of people's scorecards, he lost that fight 30-27. He recently did a podcast with George St. Pierre, and he said upon watching the fight back, he'll admit it was closer than he thought, but he's 100% sure that he won. So he's either delusional or stupid. It's a shame that he's not got one honest person around him that can pull him up and say, hey, we got really lucky there. The judges gave us that because we didn't win it. His coaches obviously can't tell him shit because he's openly admitted to not listening to them. Number 3, he's a snake. The Ariel Helwani situation showed us that Paddy is a greedy, egotistical liar that will try and twist a narrative to benefit himself. Unfortunately for Paddy, Helwani had receipts and showed everybody that he was a bold-faced liar. Journalists have never paid for interviews with athletes. Ariel has literally interviewed the biggest names in combat sports, such as Conor McGregor, who was in studio the other week, yet unranked Paddy Pimblett wants paying for an interview. The Ariel Helwani situation is what turned most fans against Paddy. Everybody else could see clear as day that he was being a snake, and it just did not sit right with anybody. He can try and blame his manager all he wants, but at the end of the day, your manager works for you and are gonna need to get clearance on all of this stuff. It's actually sad because Ariel was in Paddy's corner back when he was on Cage Warriors and nobody even knew who he was. Ariel had him on the show, giving him exposure, and even still, Paddy was so quick to jump on his podcast with his boss and slag Ariel off to his millions of viewers, calling Ariel a little rodent, saying that he's not a journalist, just a biased content creator, saying that Ariel has been fired from every good job he's had, saying that Ariel uses fighters for views and clicks. Ironically, saying all of this to Dana fucking White, who uses fighters like actual cattle. You can't claim to be this good guy who cares about bullying, who cares about mental health, and then get on your podcast to millions of viewers and then proceed to bully someone. Did Paddy mean everything he said? Was he just saying it because he knew how much Dana hates Ariel and he's just tickling Dana's balls? If anybody was a rodent in this situation, it was Paddy. Because turning your back on somebody who's had yours since the very beginning, now that is some rat-like behavior. In conclusion, I think Paddy is his own worst enemy. He should be using this time to get his head down and grind hard. He's 28 years old, he's in the prime of his life. I feel like when Paddy's 35, 36, he's gonna look back and really regret taking things so easy. The huge Barstool Sports deal he's had and the numerous other deals have inflated his ego in a time where really he needs to just be focusing on his career. But instead, he's living it up like an established champion. I know Paddy has just had an ankle surgery, but I think even if he didn't, he wouldn't be training unless he had a fight coming up or he was filming a YouTube video. Where do you see Paddy Pimblett's career going from here? Please comment down below and let me know, and subscribe if you enjoy MMA content. Thank you so much.